This is first part of Azure Integration Services interview question series. I'm not a trainer, I'm not a teacher, or I'm not an expert in Azure Integration Services also. I have almost 3 years of experience in Azure integration projects, and I am also struggling like you and learning new things day by day to get a good new job. When I started giving interviews, I just Googled and searched for Azure integration interview questions for a particular company, and I did not get any good reference. Related to cloud only, I got a few questions, and particular services also I searched, like logic app interview question, function app interview question, etc. But when I attended the interview, questions were not at all similar. Definitely, it won't be same question, but it was not at all similar. Like industrial integration project questions will be different, and the questions which I saw in Google was really different. And after every interview, I used to list down all the questions and prepare for those, prepare answers for those, so that it will be helpful for the future interviews. And also, some scenario based questions will be very helpful in the project, also, I felt. And I thought I can upload these things in YouTube so that if one person gets help from this video, then I will be happy. And also, if I made any mistakes or if there any other way to resolve problems or other answers are there for the questions, then I will also get to know about that. So I am planning to cover at least 10 questions per video with demo if possible, but we'll see how it will go. So let's get started. First question will be introduce yourself, previous projects and total experience. It's up to you. And I'm thinking to make one more video also regarding this because initially I used to introduce myself just in a 2 line or 3 lines, but later I researched and I checked with my friends how they were giving introduction and all. And that definitely depends on the person to depends on you and depends on the interviewer also, because some people will not be interested in introduction of introduce yourself question only, like directly they will just ask your experience and will go for a questions. So it's up to you. And next question, how to call one logic app from other logic app. So two methods I know. So first method will be expose the first logic app as an HTTP connector and set up the second logic app to call first logic app using HTTP action. Anyway, every logic app you can't expose as an HTTP logic app, right? So I felt like second method will be useful. Select the workflow connector and add required detail and call the other workflow. I can show this in a, logic app. I have created one logic app, just recurrence logic app it is. So this I have added some other things also for next questions. So first method which I told, using HTTP connector. This is the one more logic app I have created. This is HTTP connector logic app. We'll go to overview. So this is HTTP based connector based logic app. So you we can use HTTP connector. In that we can configure that URL. Then same like method and body if you want to send anything. And these things are irrelevant. No need to add this. So one way is to call HTTP triggered logic app is using HTTP connector. This is one way. And second one will be, which I mentioned, like calling the workflow. Here, if you go, then add an action. I had already added logic app. You can search Azure logic apps. Choose a logic app workflow. So here it will list how many resource groups access you have. Here anyway, it's a free trial. You will have only one. So in a real world project, you will have many resource group and subscription and all. So here we can select this Once you will select and list of logic app will be there, then you can select which one you want. So this is the second method, calling logic app. So this is the answer for second question. So next question will be third question. Exception handling in logic app. This is the main important question, very, very important question, because many interviewer asked me this question. So configure run up. There are many ways. I know three types of error handling in logic app. So that first one is configure run after settings. So and scope action. I'll just show here only. So this is first scope and second scope. I will just first show how to configure run after settings. So if you go here, then setting, here select action is there for run after. So if previous connector is successful or has timed out and skipped or failed, then only this connector should run. Just I'm showing this for scope. Even for connector also, you can configure these kind of values. So I'll go here and settings, select actions. See, so if HTTP calling first step is successful, then only this should execute. Like this, you can handle the errors. If timed out or skipped or failed, then only it should execute. Actually, this if successful only, this should execute. This kind of error handling we can do. And second one is similar to try catch. We can add scope also. Try scope and catch scope. If definitely you will know all these things if you had worked on Azure integration projects. No need to explain in detail. I know. So try scope and catch scope. In try scope, a set of actions, and if any error happens, then it should go to catch scope. So here also I had configured run after. If it's successful, then no need to execute this one. If timed out, skipped or failed, then catch scope will execute, and I have just added termination for that. Or you can add this kind of thing also. It is just a HTTP connector. So we can check the code also. If status code is not equal to 200, or if we know some particular code it is giving, then that code we can add here and compare and true false block. If it is successful, then it should continue, or if it is failed, then give an alert email, something, anything, like you can add that also. And even I think for this HTTP connector, retry policy also will be there. That is also one of the yeah, error handling options. Default and none exponential interval. So if if it gets failed, then in this interval it should again retry that. These kind of things we can do for HTTP connector. Or fixed interval, we can use this also. This is also one of the error handling part. So I'll just keep as it is. So configure run after settings, scope action, terminate action, and retry policy for HTTP connector. In this way, we can handle error exception in logic apps, and tracking also they will ask. That I will explain in next video. And next question will be how to integrate log analytics into logic apps. This I have already made one video on this, how to create log analytics and how to integrate that with different Azure resources. You can refer that. And next question will be, what are all the different triggers in Azure functions? That it's easy. HTTP, Service Bus, Azure Queue, many more triggers you can list out and tell them. And also they will ask what is the binding, input binding and output binding. This is also on, I'll explain anyway in future videos. Bindings in FA. There are three types of bindings: trigger binding, input binding, and output binding. This also very, very important question. You should remember this. How and you should be able to explain with an example. What is like trigger binding is nothing but which trigger you are going to select. An input binding means from where you are taking the input, and output binding is like from where you are going to put the output. This I will explain in future videos. Next, it's also important question: how to secure the logic apps. Many interviewers ask me this question. This one with demo I will explain in future videos. I will just list out now. Use managed identity. There will be two types of identity, like system assigned identity and managed identity, user assigned identity. We can use that. Okay. Identity. So I have configured system assigned identity. I will show in the future. And user assigned identity. Anything we can use to secure the logic app. This is for communicating between internal Azure internal resources. Then restrict access via IP filtering. This is also we can do. In workflow settings, here trigger access option, any IP it's mentioned, right? So only other logic apps, specific IP ranges also we can give here. These IP address only can access this logic app. This is also one of the ways to secure the logic app. And use API management. It's just host the API in API management. Then it will take care of everything. And implement and authentication and authorization. This is using Azure Active Directory. Azure Active Directory, we have to just register application, and using token we can implement this authentication and authorization for logic app. And SAS token, use shared access signature for logic app. SAS token will be there. Using this also we can secure the logic app. So next question, how do you handle dead lettering in a service bus? Service bus, you may expect many questions. So this is one of the important questions. How do you handle dead lettering in service bus? So first of all, what is dead letter queue? Dead letter queue is a sub queue where messages that cannot be delivered or processed are moved. Each queue or subscription has an associated dead letter queue. Default dead letter queue will be there for service bus. We have to just configure that. I mean, we have, if it is definitely default dead letter queue will be there. If any error occurs, then it will go to a dead letter queue. And then reasons for dead lettering: message exceeds maximum delivery attempts. So default dead letter queue will be there, and maximum delivery attempts, default maximum delivery attempts will be 10. And message expiration, that also I will show. And message is explicitly dead letter by the application. If any rules are added, these many hours, or if this thing happens, and it should go to dead letter. If anything is implemented in the application, then it will go to dead letter. So reasons for the dead lettering: message exceeds maximum delivery attempts, message expiration, time to leave TTL, message is explicitly dead letter by the application. Okay. Then configuring dead lettering. How to configure the dead lettering? Message time to leave, we can configure. We can change that default TTL also, and maximum delivery count also. And accessing the dead letter queue. The Azure portal also we can access, or Azure SDKs. If we want to access from the code, and we can use Azure SDKs for Service Bus, and Azure Service Bus Explorer tool also will be there. We can install that, and we can access the Service Bus Explorer. So I will show that thing. I have already created one queue. So I will again show. So maximum queue size will be 1 GB. So 1 GB, maximum 1 GB messages can be stored in the queue. And maximum message size will be 1024 KB. Okay, so means 1 MB can be stored, 1 MB message. Then maximum delivery count. This is default will be 10. We can change it to any number. So this is the one I was showing there. And message time to leave. So default will be 14 days. If we don't take any action, then 14 days it will be there in the queue. After that, it will be moved to dead letter queue. So here we can configure that, like if enable dead lettering on message expiration. So if we check this, then if maximum delivery count exceeds, like if maximum delivery count greater than 10, and uh, 14 days, if it exceeds 14 days, then it will go to dead letter queue. This we can configure here, or through code also we can configure using Azure SDKs. And processing the dead letter messages, identify and diagnose the issue. We can just go to dead letter, and we can see what happened for that message. Then we can configure, or custom handling also we can do. Retransmitting them to the original queue after fixing the issue. The code, we can implement some custom handling code to process the dead letter messages, logging the issue for manual intervention, or moving them to another queue or storage for further analysis. These things we can use for processing the dead letter messages in the service bus. Okay. And how to create alerts in Azure, or particularly they may ask how to create alerts for logic app errors or logic apps, function apps, they may ask. So steps will be navigate to Azure Monitor and create an alert tool. This is very simple. I will show. So I'll go to this logic app only. So here we have to go to monitoring tab and alerts. So here we can create alert rule. Signal name. Here we will see all the metrics related to the logic app. Runs failed, actions failed, triggers failed. These are all the metrics for the logic app. So anything we can select, or custom log search also we can do. It is nothing but logs will go to log analytic workspace. Then here, if we add some KQL query and set this, then this query will execute and will give the result for us based on the condition. So now I will just select runs failed. It will, I want to show that. So aggregation type also we can select total, average, maximum, minimum, or I will just select count. I will select. So greater than count I will select, and greater than 1 I will select as of now. So here check every 1 minute, or look back period is 5 minutes. So I will set it to 1 minute. Check every 1 minute. Okay. So review and create. Okay, alert rule name, rule one. I'll create this alert. So this is the way how we can create alerts in Logic app. So once it run failed greater than 1, then we will be notified. Okay. This is the way we can create the alert. We can disable or enable also here. Here again we can configure groups also. This is the way we can create alerts. And next question will be different ways of handling service bus trigger, and what is that? Peak, lock, and complete. Uh, Service bus will offer two kind of receiving mode, that is like peak lock and autocomplete. What is peak lock? The peak lock mode tells the broker that the receiving client wants to settle received messages explicitly. So once it's received to service bus, then explicitly we can settle that message. It will be there for some time by adding some exclusive lock so that other users can't see that message. Other receivers can't see that message. This is peak lock method. So once it's received, then uh, it will be there for some time with the exclusive lock so that other users can't see that message. That is peak lock mode. And autocomplete is like service bus client library automatically completes, acknowledges that it is received, it's done, it's processed. So if the message is not processed within the specific timeout, then it can be automatically abandoned or dead letter based on the configuration. So peak lock mode will be better because explicitly we can go there and see and process the message. Otherwise, in autocomplete, it will directly um, complete us the message. Like we will not know it is processed or it's successfully processed or not. So this is the different ways of peak lock and autocomplete. I will do the demo also for this too, and I will just do uh, demos for exception handling in this is done, right? So how to secure the logic apps, and this alerts also email notification, how to receive email notification, that I will show, and different way to handle uh, service bus mode like peak lock and autocomplete. So this is it for this video. These are all the like 9 questions I have covered. So next video I will create demo and I will show. Okay.